Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button because I make a lot of programming videos. So, this video in particular is about learning in context. Um, what does it mean to learn in context, and how does it actually help, you know, help you become a better developer? Learning in context is almost like gaining experience in a way. So when you, for example, learn English, or let's say you want to learn Spanish, for example, if you go out there and don't speak to nobody in Spanish, okay? Let's say you reserve hour a day learning new words in Spanish. You learn each word, you learn the phrases, okay? Let's say you have memorized 500 words. Now you go out there and you speak to people in Spanish, or try to at least. I don't have to tell you, but you're gonna have a lot of problem trying to talk to people. Okay, you're gonna forget the word. You're not gonna remember how to put together the phrases you already memorized. You're not gonna understand them. They're not gonna understand you, and you'll lose confidence. You'll come back. You'll memorize more words, and it's not gonna help. The reason is because you didn't learn it in context, in correct context, right? You didn't learn it in correct environment. So what does this have to do with programming? Well, the reason when you are working on a project and that's within a company, that's the correct environment. Okay? You're working on a project and someone asks you to implement something. How do you implement that? The task that you have been assigned is connected to a project, right? Project is the context, correct? So when you implement that task in that project, you are taking care of a lot of other things. You want to make sure the project doesn't break. You build the feature, you push it to Git, CI runs, tests fail, there's conflict and all that. Then you realize it's messing up with the other feature. There is a problem with the timing and all that. That's the context. Okay, what context does it makes you feel sometimes bad, sometimes it makes you feel good, sometimes you are proud of yourself, sometimes things happen correctly, and then later on you realize it was not really implemented how you should have. Well, that's learning in context. All these ups and downs, all these goods and bads, right? That's learning in the context. If you're learning something new, you want to learn that in a context. Okay? Same with programming. Let's say you want to learn something, okay? You can obviously open your text editor, start from scratch, create the index file, put the code there, and you start learning. That's one way, which is not bad. But learning in context would be you take an existing project and you implement that new feature in that project in a correct context. Okay, now this way, first thing first, you're gonna pay way more attention because you might break other parts of the system, and you'll also make sure that it works in general. It works alongside other things. That's another thing you'll have to make sure. Okay, and if something goes wrong, you're gonna go back and fix it. So that's learning in context. That's how you do it. If you want to learn something new, you have a project that's a base project, let's call it, and then you just implement the new things in that project. Okay, you're gonna have to refactor some code, you're gonna have to throw away some code, right? So that's what learning in context is. If you want to learn something and you want to be able to talk about it with people, you learn in context. If you're, let's say you're in an interview and you want to tell someone, oh, I implemented this feature, you don't tell them just about that feature. That's easy, anyone can do that. You cannot convince that person that you have actually done something until you start speaking in context. What context did you speak? Oh, I had this project and I implemented this API because this API was necessary, da 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 da. Now it makes sense. Now they believe your story. And also you can convince yourself too, because the context mirrored what you would do in real life. you know so that's how you learn. If you will learn things really well, do them in context of existing project. Pick the most complex project you have and implement that new thing you're trying to learn on that project, and you're gonna learn way more. So that's what I think. Any programmer out there who just creates a blank project, it starts implementing things there, they learn, but give it 1 month, 2 months, you're gonna forget. Also, when you look at the code there, it's and you read it from top to bottom, it's not gonna make too much sense to you. Like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? But when you put it in a correct context, then you can see how things relate to each other, and it makes sense, almost like a story. Okay, oh, I did this because if I did otherwise, that part of the code would break, right? So keep those things in mind. And yeah, that's how I learned personally. And I don't think it's anything new. Anyone who's been programming for someone, they understand that this is the correct way to learn new things. And I hope it helps. If you're new here, like I said, be sure to subscribe. Best of luck.